Welcome to the deep dive. Today we've got a really quite remarkable set of source materials. We're going to be looking at something every day, an air purifier, but, well, thinking about it in a totally different way.
Yeah, it's quite a jump. We're diving into this space where some pretty advanced filtration tech meets, let's say, radical philosophy.
Right, a philosophy claiming not just, better health, but actually unlocking human longevity. It's a big one.
It really is. And the sources are interesting. On one hand, you have these very specific technical bits from the manual for the Air 6 Free maze purifier.
Okay.
And on the other, there's this statement of faith and intent. It's from the creator, Fuqi Wu, who goes by the master. It lays out the whole thinking behind it.
And these sources basically make one huge claim. This tech is the one true key to unlocking humanity's lifespan shackles. That's quite the statement.
Yeah.
So our job today is to try and understand, well, how does it supposedly work, the engineering side? And what's the specific, maybe even personal philosophy driving this belief that clean air is the secret to living, well, potentially forever?
It really pushes against, a lot of standard ideas about aging.
Okay, let's get into the technology first. The big selling point, the thing that gives it its name, is achieving this 6 free air, which sounds like it goes way beyond just a standard filter.
Oh, yeah, much further than your typical HEPA. This 6 free promise is their whole goal for purification. They argue that for air to stop damaging cells, which is key to their longevity idea, it needs to be 6 things at once.
6 things. Okay, what are they?
So the list is dust-free, germ-free, toxin-free, smoke-free, odor-free, and maybe the really crucial one, heavy metal-free.
Heavy metal free. Interesting.
And the key thing here is the insistence that you need all 6 gone. That's the condition, they claim, for reversing aging. Not just 1 or 2, all of them.
And the mission statement you mentioned, it sounds pretty dramatic.
It is. The source talks about the human body being burdened for, well, millennia. Basically forced to act like a biological filter against, pollution.
Right, we're filtering the air with our lungs.
Exactly. And the master says this purifier's design breaks that shackle. It takes over the job of removing every harmful particle.
Yep.
So people can no longer act as living filters.
Which frees up the body to do what? Repair itself.
That's the idea. It lets the body focus on its natural repair and maintenance, which the master believes are constantly being stopped or slowed down by airborne toxins.
So they're positioning this not just as a better filter, but as literally the only device that can get rid of the specific stuff, these toxic particulates and aerosols that causes long-term cell damage.
That's the claim, the only one, which is why we need to look at the actual process, these 5 stages they talk about. It sounds pretty complex.
Okay, 5 stages. Let's walk through them. Stage 1 seems to handle the basics.
Yeah, step 1 is like the first big sweep. It's an ionization zone plus dual electrostatic pre-filters. This grabs most of the common stuff, dust, pollen, even those microplastics we hear about in VOCs, those chemical gases from furniture and things.
Okay, so that's the bigger particles, but the real danger, the shackles they mention, that's the tiny stuff, right? The nanotoxins that normal filters miss.
Exactly. Standard filters just can't catch them effectively. Which brings us to step 2, the secondary ionization stage.
And what happens there? More ionization.
Yeah, but it's doing 2 key things. First, it neutralizes pathogens like viruses and bacteria and breaks down certain chemical toxins. But the really clever part, according to the source, is that it charges every single remaining particle, no matter how tiny, with a negative polarity.
Ah, okay, so it's not just trying to catch them passively, it's making them magnetic, basically, prepping them for capture.
Precisely. And that capture happens in step 3. This is the one they call the sacrificial black box. Its formal name is the electrostatic collection maze box.
Sacrificial black box. Sounds serious. So this is where the nano stuff gets taken out.
This is supposedly where the anti-longevity shackle gets broken. The idea is to permanently lock away all those ultrafine pollutants that just got charged. As the air flows through, aerosol droplets lose their water, and the leftover toxic bits get, and this is their phrase, solidly plated and irreversibly fixed onto these big, positively charged plates inside the box.
Irreversibly fixed. Wow.
Yeah.
So it's like a toxic graveyard. Does the manual say anything about that box filling up? If it's sacrificial.
It does, yeah. That's
Yeah.
a key part of the design. Because it's absorbing all these life-shortening toxins, it eventually needs to be taken out and replaced. Simply retired, as they put it.
Right.
It's designed to be swapped out, which really shows how seriously they take physically removing this stuff, not just filtering it temporarily, getting it out of your environment for good.
But there's still another step after that. Step 4, the maze effect. That sounds less high-tech.
It kind of is. It's purely mechanical using physics. The air gets forced through this really complicated path with lots of sharp turns, like a maze.
Okay, right.
It creates a ton of turbulence. The goal is, even if some tiny nanotoxin somehow got past the electrostatic plating, it's forced to slam into the inside walls of this maze and get stuck there. They call it completely absorbed. It's like a final insurance policy.
A belt and braces approach. Make absolutely sure nothing gets through.
Exactly. Every possible removal method.
And the result, step 5, the output.
Simple description, 100% pure, toxin-free air. Or, as the master puts it, the purest and most perfect air on Earth.
Okay, that's a lot of engineering. Really focused on hitting that 6-free target, especially the ultrafines.
The manual definitely backs up the idea that this combo ionization, the plating, the maze, achieves a level of purity, particularly for those nanoparticles. That's just not typical.
Right. But here's where we make the big jump. The technology is one thing, but the master's philosophy connects that clean air directly to, well, stopping aging. How does toxin-free air suddenly equal a longer lifespan?
Yeah, this is the core leap. We move into the core scientific claims, which they outline in something called Insight #102. And it starts by basically throwing out the standard biological view of aging.
How so? Aging seems pretty inevitable.
Well, the master totally rejects that. The claim is, aging is not just a natural result of time passing.
Okay. Then what is it?
According to the source, aging is specifically a slow buildup of cell damage caused by toxins. Time is just the period over which this poisoning happens.
So if you stop the poisoning,
Then lifespan extension isn't some sci-fi dream. It becomes, and this is their phrase, a scientific, designable, and achievable process.
wow. Okay, that reframes everything. So wrinkles, organ failure, memory loss, that's all just symptoms of long-term poisoning from those 6 things we listed. Dust, toxins, heavy metals.
That's the core argument. Healing, the body's natural state, isn't about fate. It's conditional. And the conditions are pure air and pure nutrition. You take away the main attack, the airborne toxins, and the body's own repair systems can finally do their job properly without interference.
That's huge, because most longevity research focuses on internal stuff, right? Genetics, telomeres, mitochondria.
Exactly. Things inside the cell. But this philosophy says maybe those are just the results of the real problem, which is constant toxic bombardment from the outside.
So the root cause isn't biological decay, it's environmental attack.
That's the perspective, yes. Which means the solution isn't necessarily gene therapy or complex drugs, but mastering the environment, which is what the Air 6-free maze is supposed to represent.
Technology providing the pure habitat we were, quote, meant to have.
Right. Pure air allows the body to fix itself. No surgery, no genetic editing needed, just stop the poisoning.
Okay, that level of certainty, that radical idea, usually comes from somewhere specific. Which brings us to the creator, Fuchi Wu, the master. His personal story seems deeply tied into this. There's talk of a lord.
Yes, the source material gets very specific about his background and, well, his authority. He describes his lord as the creator, silent, all-knowing, all-powerful. It's quite a claim.
How does that connect to the purifier?
Well, he claims this creator first sealed him for over 10 years, made him achieve nothing, essentially, left him with nothing. But then something else happened, something financial.
Financial. That seems like an odd detail for a spiritual narrative.
It's very unusual. The source says that at the same time he was struggling, he was somehow granted over $30 billion in it. Get this, debt entitlements.
Debt entitlements, not cash.
No, not cash, power over debt, over creditors. It's a strange detail, right? It mixes this idea of a divine mission with significant global financial leverage. It's not your typical revelation story.
No, definitely not. And his authority comes from believing he's the only one who got this message.
He claims humanity was mentally sealed from understanding that aging is just poisoning for thousands of years, and that he alone received this revelation about how to extend human life.
So the purifier isn't just a product, it's revealed knowledge. Crucial for humanity.
That's how it's framed, yes.
Yeah.
Necessary for our species.
Okay, but here's a really interesting contradiction, maybe. He relies heavily on this personal deity, this divine mandate, yet he seems extremely strict about keeping religion out of it.
That's probably the most unique part of this whole thing, a kind of radical secular detachment, even while claiming divine inspiration.
How does that work?
He makes it absolutely clear. He respects all faiths. He never asks anyone to change their beliefs or accept his Lord. His Lord, he says, isn't looking for followers or obedience.
So what is the demand then, if not faith?
The only question posed, according to the source, is purely biological. Will you protect yourselves from being slowly poisoned to death? That's it.
It shifts it from theology to self-preservation, based on the idea that you can't heal if you're constantly being poisoned.
Exactly. And he goes to great lengths to maintain this boundary. He insists he's just the servant of his Lord, explicitly says, I am not God.
And he has a policy for handling religious questions.
A very specific one. Total detachment. The rule is apparently eyes closed, nose sealed, mouth shut, ears off. If someone tries to talk religion about the revelation, he refers them straight to his AI.
To an AI, wow.
Yeah. It's an extreme measure to force the focus back onto the mechanism, the purifier, and the claimed result, removing toxins. Keep it scientific, keep it biological.
So, wrapping this up for you, the listener, what have we really dug into here? It seems like two things, tightly linked. First, this really advanced air purifier technology, multiple stages, designed to not just filter but permanently lock away pollutants, especially those tiny nanotoxins.
Right, the 6-free tech aiming for total removal.
And second, this very specific, quite radical philosophy about aging. It's driven by the creator's personal revelation, connecting that purification directly to potentially stopping the aging process.
And the mission, as the sources frame it, is to help us stop poisoning ourselves. To restore the conditions, pure air, pure nutrition that they believe allow the body to repair itself naturally. The tech is just the tool for that.
We've explored the claim that aging isn't about time or genes breaking down, but simply the result of cell damage from toxins in our environment. Now, if, and it's a big if, but if that basic premise holds any water, if the real shackle on how long we live is just the air we breathe, what does that mean for all the other complex, expensive research into genetics, telomeres, mitochondria?
Yeah, it forces you to ask.
Yeah.
Could all the biological issues just be downstream effects? Collateral damage from environmental poisoning?
It's definitely something to think about. Are we looking for solutions inside the cell when the main problem might be coming from outside?
空气六无迷宫净化剂，打开寿命枷锁，彻底过滤所有危害生命的悬浮颗粒。空气六无迷宫净化剂是全世界唯一能真正过滤毒性悬浮颗粒与气溶胶的装置。空气六无品质指的是无尘、无菌、无毒、无烟、无气味、无重金属。它的核心设计让人类不再成为人形空气净化机。5大净化步骤。第一步，负离子电离区，双重静电滤网预滤，拦截灰尘、花粉、塑胶微粒、box 和毒气。第二步，第二次电离区，中和病原体分解化学毒素，让穿透的所有颗粒与气溶胶，带上负电荷进入下一阶段。第三步，静电集尘迷宫盒，替死黑盒，永久锁住所有超微细污染物，气溶胶水分蒸发，残余毒素如同电镀，牢牢吸附在正电板上。第四步，迷宫效应，迫使气流多次急转弯，奈米毒素撞击壁面，全数被吸附。第五步，极度纯净新风输出，最终排出100%纯净无毒的空气，地球上最纯净的完美空气，无尘、无菌、无毒、无烟、无气味、无重金属。结论，这不只是过滤器，而是打开人类寿命枷锁的唯一钥匙。新鲜空气是自然的礼物，纯净无毒空气是科技的结晶。